Welcome to Term 3. In terms of Term 3 teaching for your Tier 1 students, Term 3 is the beginning of digraphs. Students progress from CVC with the alphabet to digraphs, 2 letters representing the one sound sh, ch, th, etc. So here are your digraphs. Here are your spelling list words, reading list words, spelling list words. Here's your speech to sound mapping and single word tasks, but also phonic dictation. Inevitably, in Term 3, that won't be where your entire class is located. There will be a range in ability. Ausspell reminds us that we're always aiming for the majority of students to be keeping up with the teaching sequence, but inevitably your Tier 2 students will be those that are aligned somewhere in Term 2, either for half a term or the full term, but sometimes these students just need another 4 to 6 weeks there before making a start mid-term 3 into their digraphs. Your Tier 3 students are starting to lag and may still be at that Term 1 level. Your Tier 3 students are starting to deviate from where the class is at and may still be located at a Term 1 level. It's important that we phase out whole language and balanced literacy reading books in favour of decodable reading books. The multi-cueing system, the repetitive sentences, these are not evidence-based and definitely are not aligned with structured synthetic phonics. So within that range in ability, you may still have some students that aren't yet decoding, but your Tier 2 students are on CVC readers and your Tier 1 students are moving into digraphs and blends in semester 2. In terms of spelling ability, we are aiming for digraphs with our Tier 1 students and delivering CVC spelling practice with our Tier 2 students. So in this way, a group of students could be at a CVC level and a group of students could be at a digraph level, either a single digraph or within the term you may get to the point of 3 digraphs being presented, 3 words, 3 words, 3 words, 2 words, 2 words, 2 words from a range of different combined digraphs. Let me remind you how you teach those lists or how you teach 2 levels at the same time. Some of us are learning to spell the word ear, So the first step is we need to hear and say those sounds. PLD likes a body movement to be integrated in that process. And following that, what we need to do is map the letters. Say the first sound, and we're going to write the h sound. Say the second sound, and we're going to map or write that second sound, and we're going to write or map that second, and what's at the end of the word, now let's write that sound. Some of us are learning the word sh-ed, 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 or sh-ed, sh-ed, sh-ed. Now let's map our letters. What's that first sound? Shh. What's the second sound? The sound. What's the end sound? Sh, d, round, up and down. In this way, as a teacher, you can have 2 different lists, 2 different concepts. Everyone's doing the same thing, but you demonstrate a couple of words from each list, and then the students go back to their seats and they complete the task. Within Term 3, phonic dictation needs to really factor into your teaching. Yes, your Tier 2 students will be on a CVC level, but your Tier 3 students should be working on their digraphs transferring into writing. Some teachers like to work at a sentence level. PLD is always going to ask you to try at a minimum to tackle those middle passages. We want more practice than just sentence level dictation. So some of your students will be at a CBC level, but hopefully within term 3, the majority of students are working at a digraph level. And just because you can read and spell those phonic concepts does not mean that they transfer into writing. So we need to have a significant commitment to dictation. I'm going to demonstrate this level here with phonic dictation. So, how do you present phonic dictation? Step number 1 is pencils down. The adult repeats 3-4 words 3 to 4 times. Chad had chips, full stop. Chad had chips, full stop. Chad had chips, full stop. What are you going to write? Speak it before you write it. Chad had chips. Then the students write. Or if the students are feeling anxious about writing, the teacher writes with them. Ch, a, d, Chad, finger space, had, a, d, Chad had, put your finger space in, chips. Ch, e, p, s, Chad had chips, full stop. Chad had chips, full stop. And before we go any further, did we have a capital letter at the beginning of our sentence and it's a name? So there's a double reason for having a capital letter. Pencils down. Chad had his lunch. Chad had his lunch. Chad had his lunch. What are we going to write? Speak it before you write it. Chad had his lunch. Now, initially, the adult might need to write with the students, but over time, with repeated practice, the student should be able to write on their own. You're going to tackle these passages multiple times, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Even if it is a situation that Wednesday and Thursday you're writing with the students, Friday, when the task is quite familiar to the students. So you're going to repeat these passages multiple times. It may be the situation that Wednesday and Thursday, the supporting adult or teacher is writing with the students, whereas on Friday, I'm going to call out that dictation passage and I'm not going to write with you, because by Friday you should be able to be an independent little writer and be able to transfer those phonic concepts that we've been learning over the week into your writing. In terms of term 3 screening, we would ideally want our students to be up here. In terms of term 3 screening, we'd ideally like our students to be at a digraph level. Some students will stop a little earlier and they will be at that CBC level. But this will give us really good information for the allocation of reading books, plus also feedback on our own teaching. In terms of spelling, we still screen the CVC words and also the digraph words, and see who's ready to start moving on, or actually who needs more targeted teaching at either of these levels. So really good information to set groups. Some students are going to be aligned with the term 3 teaching sequence. Some are still at that term 2 level, or by midterm they're just starting the term 3 sequence. They've just started a little late, and we've got students that are at a beginning of the year level. Remember the support that is available through the PLD website. I wish you a great year. I wish you a great term of solid, effective teaching with the PLD materials, and also really pleasing outcomes for your students. All the best. If you found this information useful, don't forget to click the subscribe button and check out our related videos shown here. If you have any questions or feedback, please add them to the comments below and we'll be sure to respond. Otherwise, you can reach us via live chat on our website, pld-literacy.org. Thanks again for viewing.